that earache did not come back, and my hope is that they remain gone.
Yes. Mom has not reached out to me about ear pain or earache since.
Oh, this is major. It's like the next big thing. Come catch the wave, yeah. Watch what's happening. A force of nature. Hit 'em like lightning. Be the creator of the next big thing. We're the movers and shakers. We are the dreamers, the makers. We stand on top of equators. We are the limitless. Got the future, no papers. We are the innovators.
Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Compromised to Alchemized podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Neil Bolchendani. This week is a very fun, different kind of setup in that I am here in Dr. Tanya Altmann's office. That is Calabasas She's a Calabasas pediatrician. As you can see, I'm joined by Rainbow, Unicorn, and Alpaca, I'm pretty sure. So I've been doing sessions out of this office today. It's my second time, and it's been fun. In the mix, Dr. Altmann's office is right outside these doors, and it's just been fun helping, babies, kids, and moms, and more than that. So it's really fun. But yeah, I'm introducing what we're about to do. So that's the fun thing here. Usually I'm doing the intro after the fact, but I'll be talking to Dr. Altmann round 2, second time we've done this. First time it was virtual. This time we're in person. So that should be just fun in and of itself. And we've been brainstorming different cases. It was great learning from Tanya and what she does to help support these families. If anybody hasn't seen or heard prior episode, encourage you to do that. We focus on what Dr. Altmann does as an integrative pediatrician, yes, but also how she advocates for families. Not only that, she's quite an entrepreneur, quite a visionary, and usually it comes out of need, which is how these stories go. She sees a company that's got a product and she just has a way of knowing how that's going to actually help people more, how to help that company. So I think there's so much. So I knew we would be doing more. But yeah, this will be a fun one. So if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to it. You don't need to hear this one right there. It's not module 1 and module 2. It's action-packed, fun. Getting to come to Calabasas once a week or so. Sometimes I go to Sherman Oaks. Getting to collaborate with Ina Henry and the Birth Collective that she is part of. That's amazing. I also go to Thousand Oaks. So just for people who know where any of those places are, it's LA-ish for Thousand Oaks, but we're in this area. So, I can't wait to see what we talk about. And therefore, I can't wait for you all to hear what we talk about when we know what we'll talk about. Many updates going on in my world too. So I don't want to do those now because we're about to hop on. So I will fill you all in on that sometime soon. All right, I'm here with Dr. Altmann here in her office, which is pretty exciting. So we were just talking about what can we kind of display. I mean, for one fact, I think it's just cool that your office is right out there and you're letting me come in and use this office. So it's been fun to have many conversations between patients.
Yeah.
And but one came to mind and we were talking about it. So yeah, I'd love if you would just explain what made you think of referring this particular person, and then I'll kind of explain what I did as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a general pediatrician, I have patients with so many different issues that they come to me for. And there are things that can help that are even beyond my training and what I know, even though I am an integrative pediatrician. So the most recent issue that I reached out to you about was a lot of my patients travel a lot. They fly a lot. And I've noticed that I'm seeing more kids over the years because my families fly so frequently, and sometimes they even fly private as well. And maybe it doesn't pressurize as well, but the kids just have this continuous fluid in their middle ear, and I can't get it to drain. And then it often turns into an infection or not. It can muffle their hearing. It can be uncomfortable. They can feel pressure, discomfort. And so I had this idea with one family that maybe there was a way that you could do some gentle evaluation, manipulation, or pressure points to help clear her ears and help it drain.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was so happy that you thought of me, and I feel like it's been fun to collaborate on these because I think you're such the mentality of a village mentality. Like,
Yeah.
and my theme of the podcast is compromised, alchemized, and I part of that is like it is hard. Let's make it easy for families, and as an advocate of patients, you're just so great at that. So I kind of go into all of these as blank slates. I'm like thankful for what Dr. Tanya told me. Let me see what mom tells me. Let me see what little
Mm.
one tells me. And then when I evaluate, I could see and feel the tension on the eustachian to, well, it kind of ripples out to some of the ways the cartilage attaches to the temporal bone and the fascia on top of that. So I was finding temporal bone misalignments, in that lines the bony canal, but also fascial adhesions here. But what I usually find is if those are going on, there are other things that are also going on. So I did whole body assessment, but then I did inspect the floor of the mouth, the tongue, the palate, and I did see narrow maxilla, so that was a narrow palate, high narrow arch on the front of the palate.
Yeah.
Then I did see lip tie, tongue tie, and let's just say that they weren't extreme or severe, but they're there. It's like a black and white. Either they're there or they aren't.
Okay.
They were told by several people in the past that they weren't there or that they weren't affecting. And I would just say, thankfully, there weren't a lot of presenting issues there. But I look for these upstream, downstream issues.
Sure.
And that's why we have ENTs because it's all connected in there.
Yes, and I want to say I did not take care of her as a newborn, so I'm not sure how the feeding was then because that is something I look for. But they came to me when she was already a toddler, and she was doing pretty well with her feeding, speaking, everything. And it wasn't until these recurrent ear infections and just ear fluid that I couldn't get to drain that I thought, there's something else going on here that we haven't figured out.
And this would have been under the radar for so many of us. And you are like spidey senses, like what's going on. So that's why I think it's really enlightening and refreshing that you think like that because you're going above and beyond. So this flew under the radar of like everybody, and I would have said, okay, it might be there, but you're doing fine in so many things. So in one way, when I found that tension under the tongue, it was that's there, but the mom was like, "Well, do we need to do anything? Let's not jump the gun. Let's just say that there is that. But now, how can we address what's going on in the body to free up tension?" So I used manual therapy, very gentle touch, which
Uh-huh.
also had diastasis, ab separation.
Okay.
Now, it's normal for all babies to come to this world to have that,
Right.
but Stanford has a great article that says by the age of 5, most kids will integrate their abs. The rectus abdominis will come together, the linea alba will cohere, and we'll have abs that work like they should. But I see so many that don't. And
Huh.
sometimes it's because they have these midline fascial issues like tongue tie, narrow palate,
Okay.
that the body doesn't integrate as well muscularly, neurodevelopmentally, fascially. So it was there. There was a kind of a little valley between the abs,
Mhm.
and it was causing some of the ribs to flare in a way. It's causing some of the organs to misalign in a certain way. So I mentioned that because yes, the mouth was there as an issue, but the diastasis was also an issue. So I did gentle visceral work to align some of the organs. I also checked the floor of the mouth and saw that after that, and addressing her foot restriction, just the tension or Achilles tendon, that it created a loosening in the floor of the mouth. The tongue moved more properly, and that started this upstream downstream effect where the lips and the cheeks loosened, the palate shifted on its own without pressure, and then I could started to see even the sphenoid and the temporal bone aligned on their own, and this fascia was even less rigid. So that
Huh.
by the time I got to this, there was less to do. It was
Okay.
a gentle tugging, releasing, and of course that was one layer of what happened. I think I also did photobiomodulation. I used violet laser. I have just found in my own work when I use that on the palate, it helps calm the nervous system, but it helps integrate the abs really quickly.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
in using that for close to 7 years or so, I've seen a lot of cases where it just helps so much. Red light's great, but violet light is magical. So, but it's really, really good. And 405 nanometers, the wavelength, and they mostly don't feel it. But going back to like, where did this all start? The tension under the tongue happened at 4 or 5 weeks gestation. and then
Okay.
the ear forms parts of it at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's
Embryology.
a swirl. You got it, embryology. So, and I know that the earache did not come back, and my hope is that they remain gone.
Yes. Mom has not reached out to me about ear pain or earache since. I haven't re-looked in the ear, so that's something that I definitely do want to do. But before, she was reaching out to me every day saying the child had discomfort, and I kept looking, saying there's no infection there. Like, this does not need antibiotics. It's just trapped fluid causing the pressure. So, wow.
Well, it'll be good too because I saw her again last week and it was improved, nothing, no issues. And she actually said, when is my, well, she's, she was eager for some part of the session. And then I'm seeing them today. So,
Okay,
right in
perfect.
here.
All right. Oh, then I can check the ear after and we'll see. Oh, that is so great. And that's one of the things that I love because, I try to fix every patient that comes into my office with whatever their issues are, or also prevent things that I see that might happen if they continue down the path that they're on. But there's definitely things that I don't know how to fix. And that's when I need to bring in other practitioners and what their specialties are. And so to me, this is just, whoa, like mind exploding. So amazing that there is so much that maybe I haven't learned in the past that can benefit my patients, that is safe, that is non-invasive, that is not surgery. And so I really appreciate you helping.
Well, I love it. You also had another one. I think you made this amazing post on social media about massaging the tear ducts to get when tear ducts
Yes.
right? I saw that. I'm like, first of all, amazing that a pediatrician is getting on and teaching that because how many moms and or dads will be finding that that's going to help? So many. That helps so much of the time to clear these goopy tear ducts that fill up. So, but I made a quick comment on there of like, there's a very gentle alignment we can do when that doesn't work. You, like lightning speed, reached out. All of a sudden, there's a mom who wants to bring her baby in for that.
Oh,
And it was next day.
Yes.
So that was
Because they had been reaching out to me every day about these goopy eyes, and we'd been on and off drops, and we were trying to do the massage ourselves and unclog it, and it just kept coming back. So did you fix her?
on the way.
Okay.
So the first I just saw her again today for the second time, and again it started with feeding issues that were there. There were some areas that were still tense in the mouth and the whole body, and so today it was way less tense, and it's kind of hard to think through all of the areas that we addressed. But I think the main thing was there was such a hypersensitive gag reflex.
Yes.
Nervous system is
She is one of my really fussy feeders since birth, and I've been working on her gut microbiome, which has been helping. But you're right, she is. She's very tense.
So I addressed the right kidney misalignment.
Okay.
And then also one of her views, the left one, was so rigid in the fascial area that the Achilles tendon. So loosening is kind of a pattern. Loosening that, the kidney, floor of mouth loosened a lot.
That's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Been and interesting because the lactation consultant they were working with from birth kept saying to me that she was concerned about the tightness in her legs.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so much going on then with just getting the baby fed and growing that I kept saying, let's wait on that. Let's wait on that. But you're right. It is all connected.
Yeah. And, this is one of those where there's the mom was saying today too, like when doing bath and the baby's legs just want to shoot right out. The rigidity.
Yes.
So it's like, ooh, that's not just muscular, fascial, that's nervous system being on guard.
Yeah.
And hypersensitive gag reflex is another clue. So, and when I touched the back of her palate and when I touched the jaw muscle, the pterygoids, her instantly goes like that and gags. So it was blessed today because usually it's there's tension here in the cranial area and releasing that gently, but also kidney and some of these areas, they free up tension in the mouth, tongue can move, and then the palate can shift, and then it shifts through from head to toe. So it's layered. Then after that, I said, oh, but the lacrimal bone is still today restricted, still goopy. So what we did is I found, it wasn't only that, it was the nasal bone, frontal bone, and parietal bone, and so we gently freed up those. They're sutured, so that's like sewn together tightly.
Right.
So it's this phase where we can make so much change as she's still very, very young. So just gently coaxing those and enough freed up. And I said, this is usually the point where we're going to see a lot. So we're
Okay.
I have to report. Now we're gonna have to do part 2 where we say, did it work or didn't it? But I've seen so many of these where this is what's needed, and if you just chase the rabbit hole a little further,
Yeah.
like you've done,
No,
then
that's great, and that's what's really helping my patients. So in general, when you get the kids when they're young, the babies, the toddlers, the early elementary school, how many sessions or treatments do they usually need? And I know it varies, but often parents are asking me, is this something where there's like, 3 to 6 treatments, or is this like ongoing for months or years? What do you think in general?
I think it's like so much happens in the first 1 to 3 sessions.
Okay.
That sometimes that's really what gets them out of a need for more. But sometimes we get it to where we're addressing so many issues, and they're like, "Can we do more to help more?" I'm like, "Yeah, in this developmental phase, so much is possible." Some families just like the breakthrough, and
Right.
I'm like that. I'm a dad of 3 kids. I'm like, "Hey, we got life to do. What's going to move the dial? What's going to help so much?" And when we get that done, which is usually a few, then it's like we can just check monthly milestone kind of thing.
Okay.
That's more like kind of palatable and, pardon the pun, and easier. It depends. Like the older they get, there are more issues that could occur that could require more like the phases of development, and when they go from like the toddler phase and they're running around, and that's a big phase because I help a lot of babies when the crawling, they're doing that army crawl,
Yeah.
one leg crawl, or they just can't stand tummy time if they're a little younger, and sometimes that is kidney misalignment or the thyroid's misaligned. Gentle releases there can help all those milestones. So it's like I like to take it milestone by milestone, problem solving it, and if they're good, I teach them how to do body work and gentle movements so that they don't need to rely on the sessions. They can rely on the info to
That's
do it
important.
daily, see what happens, and then we're more problem solving what isn't, shifting.
Okay, no, that totally makes sense. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you're doing for my patients.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to be collaborating, and I feel like we're gonna have a lot more good stories. So
It's great. Let's fix them all.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for listening to the Compromise to Alchemized podcast. Really excited to thank Jessica from Lunalux for the music. This track called Major. I want to thank Toshi, who originally did the design work for my cover art. And then I also want to thank Alyssa from my team for podcast publishing, my whole team, including Kat, for heading up my world. And then also definitely want you all to follow me on YouTube, follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcast, comment, give us a rating, and also follow me on Instagram at Dr. Neil Bulchandani so you can stay tuned to my latest. Thanks so much, and you have an amazing day.
This is major.